Hey everyone, can you believe it? It's been a whole year. I've been living in Japan for a whole year. As I'm saying this, I almost can't believe it. It's been a whirlwind. I feel like this has been the longest year of my life just because it's been so filled with new experiences. Like my brain is trying to make room for all of the instantaneous processing of new experiences. It's been a ride. I'm so happy to have taken this trip. This time last year, I had just left my job in Jacksonville, and I packed everything up. I had all the money that I saved up, and I conquered my fear of flying. The fear of flying, conquering coincided with the biggest step I've ever taken in my life. I dropped everything to follow my dream, and it was a risk. Like, what if I ended up in a crappy apartment? What if the people at my school were lame? What if I ran out of money? What if, I don't know, like the language barrier was too hard? It is hard, but what if, there were so many what ifs, and because taking this step was so in line with my goals and my values, I knew I had to do it, and I'm so glad I did, and I'm so happy that I had friends supporting me along the way for years ahead of time. They'd been saying, Sean, you're worth more than this. You're worth more than just this small town. You're worth more than just that job. You're worth more than, living in one city for your whole life. You've got to at least see something else. So I really cherish my friends who've been encouraging me for this whole time. I freaking did it. I'm here in Japan and living it up. 1 year later, amazing. This time last year, I would have landed in Tokyo. I would spend 3 days in Shinjuku, and then I would take one of the most, the fourth day of that trip, I was on a train in a Shinkansen and a car with so many new experiences being thrown at me. Of course, my first time on Shinkansen, and also just meeting my supervisor, meeting some of my teachers, meeting the Board of Education head, meeting all these people who would be super important with my life all in one day. And it was a pretty warm day, and I was wearing a full, suit and jacket and tie, and I had all of my luggage with me, and I just felt like I just want to camp. I just want to set my tent up and perch, for a while, because I had been uprooted. But then obviously that week and the week after were just amazing, and just getting sorted out and going through my apartment and seeing what I had. My predecessor left me with so many great things. I was really wanting little. And then classes started. And boy, when I look at my notebook with my lesson plans from last year, I cringe because I cannot believe I subjected my students to this nonsense. It was fine for what it was, and I was encouraging myself mentally the whole time, you're doing great, you're the boss, you're the master at this, you were brought here for a reason, you were specially selected, and I don't know how I could have gotten through those months of without constant self-encouragement, because it's a scary thing. You feel like you have no foundation. Japan is in this weird transition where they're prioritizing English education, but as of yet, they're still not really sure how to do it, how they want it to happen. So I showed up at a school with me having very little Japanese, and I just showed up to each class, and I said, here's what I think would be interesting. And it was really difficult to talk to the teachers because they're so busy and because my Japanese is so poor. But I did it. And I can't even look at some of my notebooks yet because it's just, I can't believe. But I also remember some stunning lessons where a spark of genius would happen, and wow, that was really creative and really fun and engaging, and it was not written down in any book somewhere. There was no ALT guide to to show me these really cool, interesting things that I did kind of all by myself. So of course, I'm very impressed with myself and I'm proud of myself for doing this, but at the same time, I would not want to be a fly on the wall and to see what those lessons were, you know. You always, like, yeah, hindsight is always 20/20, so you feel like now I would totally do it differently, and right now, I have the opportunity to do it differently. A lot has changed in the past year, and now we have an English chief in our department, a young woman who had studied in America, studied English in America, has great English, and now we're doing lessons together. The first semester we were together, I was pretty much taking the lead and doing a lot of lesson plans, and now she's taking the reins and is doing, being more and more active, and it's only exponentially been what I mean is, it's only been a benefit to our lessons, obviously, to have the team teaching dynamic, which is something I'm really starting to enjoy, because this time last year, I had very little feedback from my teachers. I had very little communication with my teachers, and it was a struggle. School was interesting, but I did my very best, and yeah, I made myself proud. Also, I went through my first real winter. In fact, the first time I ever saw snow was freaking here in Japan. I think, yes, it was November, the week of Thanksgiving. It may have been the day after Thanksgiving. Maybe a week before there had been like what they call spit snow, where it's like almost snow. It's like almost an illusion. So I didn't count that really, and it wasn't really anything to remark about. And then the day after Thanksgiving, 2017, I saw snow. I saw snow. It's magical. It makes you feel like you're in a movie. The interesting thing about me being kind of sheltered in Florida my whole life is all of these cold weather experiences and all these mountainous region experiences I'd never experienced before. And I experienced like a peace and a security being around mountains. I remember coming out of the market just like, wow, I'm surrounded by mountains. I feel so safe, and I feel like I'm kind of in a magical land. I still kind of feel that way. And one great thing about Japan is that each season is pronounced. Summer has been a summer. I mean, come on. It's been really hot. And air conditioning is not really a thing in Japan, especially in a small town in Nagano. So it's, yeah. I miss American air conditioning, and I miss, like, the cold drinks, and I miss La Croix. Everyone makes jokes about how it's not even flavor of water, it's lame, but I love it and I miss it. I miss La Croix. I miss a bunch of corny. I miss Dunkin' Donuts. You know, I'm not a big snacker like that, but man, if I could just get like the croissant donut with like a raspberry filling and then pumpkin spice iced coffee. I miss it. Pumpkin spice season is coming, and I miss it. But basically, yeah, I saw my first snow. It was beautiful, and then I went through my first real winter. It was less than 10 degrees here in Japan, 10 degrees Fahrenheit, like below freezing. I've never experienced that, and I thought that if the temperature was below freezing, that means that all of the water that was in my apartment, or all the water in the vicinity would freeze. Like the river would freeze if it's below zero, but it doesn't. You know, an object in motion stays in motion. It boggled my mind. Luckily, the winter wasn't so intense. It was long and it was cold, but it wasn't super snowy. I think I shoveled snow twice. It could have been 3 times, but I feel like it was only twice. And that's saying a lot, considering a lot of my Japan peers have been shoveling like feet of snow every morning. Or their roads are hazardous because of the snow and the black ice. And luckily, our town does a great job of clearing the roads, and our town does not get a lot of snow. So that's been really nice. And just to feel that kind of like almost hibernation mode that you don't get in Florida. This kind of like a nesting kind of idea where, okay, I'm gonna do cozy. Whoa. I'm going to do cozy things now. I'm going to do self-preservation things now. I'm going to do introspective learning and exploration things now. And that was a really fun experience that you don't really get in like a tropical winter climate like in Florida. So that's been a really cool experience. To experience spring in Japan, there's nothing more hopeful than seeing those first buds or seeing that first green sprout come up of the cold ground, or to see the ginkgo tree just with like a little shoot, a little green shoot. It's like, wow, it's really coming. Like, we haven't been forsaken. Spring is coming. And that's been so wonderful. And honestly, the wildflowers that grow in Japan, so beautiful and so fragrant. You just walk outside and it's like, what flower is it today? I didn't think about how the wildflowers really do improve your mood, and they're beautiful and they smell great. I mean, it's like nature's mood enhancer. It's really something. And then the end of the year, and then we lost some teachers. There's a process in Japan where teachers stay at a specific school for about 3 years, and they rotate to a different school in a different region. And that was really weird to adjust to, especially when some of my favorite teachers left last spring. It seriously hit me. My vice principal left, and she was like a beacon at our school. I still really miss her and honor her, and she's a good lady. So I hope to see her again. But anyway, yeah, that first winter and spring and my first freaking summer. And fall has such a deeper meaning in Japan. This time last year, we were getting ready for leaves changing color. Now in Florida, maybe you've experienced this. The leaves don't change in Florida until January. So in December, it's like all green, all good. And then we finally get leaves to change. But in Japan, maybe late September, early October. I mean, people who live in the rest of the United States or other parts of the world are like, Sean, you don't know when the leaves change color? No, it doesn't really happen in Florida, where I'm from. So it was a beautiful and invigorating experience when the weather gets cooler and the atmosphere just changes. So that's been really cool. It's been an amazing year. And it felt like a dream. I remember catching myself in a few moments where I'm like pinching, like, okay, I live in Japan. The weather's changing. Like, I'm getting paid. I have an awesome job, and like I have people who support me and love me, and I have people back home who love and support me. On the emotional side, I've been pretty strong. I've been pretty good. I had a couple moments where I'm just feeling low, or I feel like, gosh, I wish I could just press the button and just cry it out, and sometimes you have to watch that movie that just gets you every time so you can just release it. I was mentioning to a friend that culture shock is not so much you're a person of your nationality and then you see something that's totally, obviously not what you're used to, and you can recognize it. Oh, I'm experiencing culture shock, and now I can react to it. It's much more subtle than that most of the time. It's like little things people do, or when you do something but you feel a little off. You feel like, I feel like I'm being watched, or I feel like there's a different way to do this. Or you see people do things that you'd never expect somebody to do, and then that becomes the norm there. And I remember preparing myself for culture shock and saying, Sean, if it happens, that's fine. Please be kind to yourself and do what you need to do. And I have been doing that, but I don't think culture shock is like black and white, that you see my culture does this, your culture does this, I'm reacting, and then it's over. It's like all these small experiences and impressions and like observations and attitudes that come up, and you don't know quite what to do with them. And it's kind of like, it doesn't really hit you until later on that, oh, the reason I felt so weird is culture shock. So, yeah, it's been a lot of adjusting, and I have to say, like, I've done a great job adjusting to all the crazy changes in my life. And I'm so happy. I mean, this is such a great time for me to be an adult and to be on my own and to, like, create my own life. Of course I miss my friends. Like, that's the thing. Uh, it's kind of like saying goodbye, right? Sometimes it's too hard. It's too hard to, like, keep picking the scab, like, I miss my friends. Oh, I really miss my friends. Oh. You know, like, it would be really easy for me to do that, but I think what I have to do to keep my batteries charged and to keep going is to say, I'm going to see my friends soon. I'm going to see my friends soon. I'm going to America when I go. When I go to America, I'll go. And I'll see my friends, and everything's going to be great, and it's going to be just, you know, like nothing's changed, you know, even though I feel like I'm a totally new person in a good way. Yeah, I miss my friends, but I kind of can't occupy space in my mind for that because it just makes it so much harder. I literally can't go back to America right now. I don't want to get too heavy. This is like a celebration. Okay, so anyway, see, like it already, yeah, you know what I mean. So, basically the things that I miss from America and living in a country like America, I think air conditioning is necessary. I think it's not just a luxury. I think we gotta have air conditioning. And that doesn't mean that it needs to be, like, there need to be ice cubes forming on your nose in the middle of summer. Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, you know, you're in your house, you're in your own house, or you're at school. You shouldn't be, like, dripping sweat at your place of work or at your home. Or, another alternative, if you're in your apartment, you should have the capacity to cool your room. Not just have a fan, but like to turn on a switch. Even if it's super expensive, you deserve the right to make your apartment comfortable. I don't think that's asking too much. That said, I think my tolerance has boosted. My tolerance to like inclement, like kind of uncomfortably cold or uncomfortably hot. And of course, like, the Japanese culture has a bunch of little tricks to, like, get around it or to, like, cope with it. But I have to say, coming from America, I miss air conditioning. I do. And what else? I miss access to the snacks that I had in America. Obviously, I miss my family. I just wish, like, we could be in the same room. There's something magical about you see the person's eye and you can like see the black of their eye and that's them. Like you see their essence. I miss that. Yeah, we're not gonna get too heavy. I'm not gonna cry on camera. I do miss the comforts of living in the United States. Air conditioning. One thing I miss, like in my solitude, I miss the way the light hits the walls in my room back in Florida. Like, I prepared the room that I was living in to be everything I needed. It's like the perfect shade of green that I love, and it's got like fake foliage that make me feel safe, and I've got these like wooden Chester drawers that I really like, and I've got my cologne set up, and I've got my computer set up, and I've got my bed, like my bed. The comforts of living, you know, at home. And I know I can, like, never go back to where it used to be. And that's there's a little sorrow there, but I also know that I wouldn't go back to the nest, you know? I think that's kind of what changed. Like, I'm on my own, I'm an adult, and I'm going to continue doing my thing. It's a 20-minute video so far, so thanks for watching so far. I'm really sorry. Thanks for watching. If I could go back for 1 hour and just be in America for 1 hour and choose to do one activity, I would just love to go to Target and walk around with my buddy. I want to go to the buddy section and and look at tank tops, or like look at clearance racks. I want to go to the electronics section, see if there's anything on clearance. I want to go to the seasonal section and like try out the patio furniture, and I want to like look at the Halloween section. I want to buy like clearance Christmas wrapping paper, and then I want to buy LaCroix when it's on sale, and I want to look at all the different candies that are on sale, and go in health and beauty. Maybe they've got like lip balm on sale, and then go to the Home Goods and maybe buy like you can't see it, but like a little tablecloth or something. Just little pieces of home, And that just makes going back home for Christmas that much sweeter, I wouldn't say there are sacrifices we have to make, but there's the way we navigate life. The way I'm navigating my living right now is I'm away from home and family and friends. And that's tough. But luckily there are a lot of great things and interesting things and valuable things here that distract me. Not distract me in like a whatever way, but like they occupy me and stimulate me. In some ways I feel like Henry David Thoreau, living in the mountains and the woods, and you have the time and peace to know yourself and enjoy the sweetness of yourself. I guess that's kind of the essence of what this past year has been for me. Know that I'm pining to see you and all my friends and family. Oh man, I can't wait! And guess what? Fall is starting, and this semester, although it's the longest, the 4-month semester goes by the quickest. So pretty soon I'll be right there, doing all the old fun stuff. So thank you guys for following me for the past year, and for supporting me and loving me and having patience with me. And after a year, I've realized that I'm not really good at keeping up with people. I'm not good at like every week saying, hello, how's it going? I mean, there are friends I haven't talked to in maybe a month or two. And it's not out of lack of care or anything. The 13-hour difference makes a big difference. I mean, I get kind of grumpy after I take my melatonin. I just want to knock out. And then in the morning, I'm not particularly bright and ready to, communicate these things that we can't really say. It's like a feeling, And I know that the people who are waiting for me on the other side, it's going to be, nothing's changed, When I see them again, it'll be like I never left. So, thank you for being with me this whole time and supporting me. I'm going to be here for a while. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.